My wife, Sarah, and I were the couple everyone looked up to. We'd been married for 8 years, built a beautiful life together, and were raising our 6-year-old son, Leo. From the outside, we had it all. A loving relationship, financial stability, and a home filled with laughter. I thought we were unshakable. I was wrong. It all started subtly. Sarah began working late more often. Her job in marketing was demanding, so at first I didn't think much of it. Then came the business trips, which became more frequent. She'd always been a dedicated employee, so I tried to be the supportive husband, handling things at home with Leo so she could focus on her career. But a small, nagging feeling started to grow in the back of my mind. She became more distant. Our conversations grew shorter, more functional. We talked about bills, Leo's school schedule, and what to have for dinner. But the deep, meaningful talks we used to have late into the night had vanished. She was always on her phone, smiling at the screen. But when I'd ask what was so funny, she'd just wave it off, saying it was a work group chat or a silly meme from a friend. The warmth that once defined our relationship was slowly being replaced by a chilling politeness. I tried to bridge the gap. I planned date nights, suggested a weekend getaway, anything to reconnect. She'd agree, but her heart wasn't in it. She seemed distracted, her mind a million miles away. I blamed work stress, the pressures of parenthood, anything but the one thing I couldn't bear to consider. I told myself that all long-term relationships hit rough patches and that we just needed to push through it. The real turning point came one evening when she was supposedly on a business dinner. Leo had a mild fever, so I called her to let her know. She didn't pick up. I called again and again, no answer. I started to worry. A couple of hours later, she texted back, "Sorry, meeting ran super late. How's Leo?" I felt a small bit of relief, but something still felt off. The next day I was paying our credit card bill online when I saw a charge from the previous night. It was from a fancy restaurant, but it wasn't a place her company would ever choose for a business dinner. It was a romantic, intimate spot on the other side of town. Curiosity gnawed at me. I did something I'm not proud of. I checked our shared phone location history, a feature we'd set up years ago for safety. Her phone hadn't been at the restaurant, she claimed. It had been at a hotel nearby. My world tilted on its axis. My heart hammered against my ribs, and a cold sweat broke out on my forehead. It couldn't be true. There had to be a logical explanation. Maybe the location was wrong. Maybe a colleague had a room there, and the meeting was in the lobby. I desperately clung to any possibility that didn't involve her betraying me. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time she rolled over in bed, my stomach twisted into a knot. I watched her peaceful, sleeping face and felt like I was looking at a stranger. Who was this woman I had shared my life with? The next morning, I decided I couldn't live with the uncertainty anymore. I had to know the truth, no matter how much it hurt. When Sarah left for work, I told my boss I had a family emergency and went to the hotel. My hands were shaking as I walked up to the front desk. I described my wife and asked if they had seen her with someone the previous night. The receptionist, a kind-looking woman, gave me a sympathetic glance. She couldn't give me guest information, but her eyes told me everything I needed to know. Defeated, I turned to leave, but then I saw him. A man was checking out, and I recognized him from one of Sarah's company photos. It was her boss, Mark. He looked smug, and my blood ran cold. The pieces of the puzzle clicked into place, forming a picture I never wanted to see. The late nights, the business trips, the constant texting. It was him. I went home and felt like a ghost in my own house. Every photo on the wall, every shared memory felt like a lie. When Sarah came home that evening, she was humming a happy tune. She asked about my day, and I couldn't hold it in any longer. My voice was quiet, almost a whisper. "How was your business dinner last night, Sarah?" She froze. The color drained from her face. "It was fine," she stammered. "Long, but productive." "Really?" I said, my voice gaining strength. "'Cause the credit card says you were at a romantic restaurant, and our phone locator says you were at a hotel? With Mark, I assume?" The silence that followed was deafening. She just stared at me, her eyes wide with shock and guilt. She didn't deny it. She couldn't. The truth was finally out in the open, raw and devastating. She broke down, sobbing, and the whole sordid story came pouring out. It had been going on for 6 months. It started with flirtatious texts, then lunches, and quickly escalated. She said she felt neglected, that our spark had died, and that Mark made her feel seen and desired. Her excuses felt like daggers. Neglected? I was home every night taking care of our son while she was out with another man. Our spark had died? She was the one who had built a wall between us, who had pushed me away every time I tried to get close. Her words were a desperate attempt to shift the blame, to justify the unjustifiable. I felt a strange sense of calm wash over me. The pain was immense, but the uncertainty was gone. I knew what I had to do. "I want you to pack a bag and leave," I said, my voice devoid of emotion. "We're done." Her pleas and apologies were meaningless to me now. The trust, the very foundation of our marriage, had been shattered into a million pieces, and there was no glue in the world that could put it back together. She had chosen to deceive me, to risk our family for a cheap thrill. The days that followed were a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and heartbreaking conversations. Telling my family was hard, but telling Leo was the worst pain I have ever experienced. How do you explain to a 6-year-old that his mommy isn't going to live with us anymore? How do you protect his innocent heart from the fallout of his parents' broken world? Now it's just me and Leo. The house is quieter, and some nights the loneliness is overwhelming. I look at my son and see the strength I need to get through this. Healing is a long, winding road. There are days when anger consumes me, and other days when a deep sadness settles in. But I'm learning to rebuild my life, one day at a time. I'm focusing on being the best father I can be for Leo, creating a stable and loving home for him. The image of the perfect marriage is gone, replaced by the harsh reality of betrayal. But in its place, I'm finding a new kind of strength I never knew I had. My story isn't about a happy ending, but it is about survival, resilience, and the hope that one day the pieces of my broken heart will form a new, stronger whole. Thanks for listening.